Yo, what's the word, y'all? It's Davion Seen It. I'm back with another video, and tonight we're going to be talking about Snowfall Season 5, Episode 8, Celebration, and this is my quick recap review. And this is not a before bed because I don't have work in the morning. So let's get right into it. So, we open up this episode oh my goodness. Like, first of all, I'm not going to, listen, this episode got really crazy because everyone was having like a whole LSD trip. Like, this was like a really trippy episode. You had Jerome was off one. You had you had Franklin was definitely off one. Sissy was off one. And then you have Ruben showing up to the wedding in disguise. I was like, that was wild to me because that's when things could have taken a wrong turn. You know what I'm talking about? You have you have Jerome and Aunt Louie acting all weird. But I'm gonna get to Aunt Louie in a minute. But what I want to talk about is Franklin and his LSD trip. He had an extreme one. And it seemed like everyone from his past came back for him, basically. And all caught up to him. And this is like the warning for the end. Like, this is like they foreshadowing his end, his downfall, because this empire is starting to crumble, and it's starting to crumble fast too, like faster than they even know it. So you have Rob show up in his LSD trip, and Rob was like, "You didn't even have to kill me. I wasn't gonna say anything. You killed me because you couldn't control me." And Franklin was arguing back and saying that he did what he had to do and he didn't want to do it. It hurt him. But that's too late now because Rob is a ghost. And then the crazy part of the scene is when Rob is like holding the gun and he pulls the trigger and it seems like Franklin is dead. But of course, that's in the LSD trip. Now he gets found later by Sissy, and Sissy hips him, saying that they've been drugged by acid and just play along with it. Just play along. And so later on in the episode, Franklin is just going off by himself, tripping. And, he's going down this hallway. It looks like everything is closing in on him because it's kind of like serves as a metaphor. So he has another imaginary trip. And this time we talking about Veronique. And let's talk about how Homeboy had a whole episode, a whole temper tantrum episode in the bathroom holding a fake gun. And, Veronique was even holding him accountable. You know what I'm saying? And, she was just talking about how if you can't be a gangster and a businessman, a gangster and a family man at the same time. And I'm like, like things are starting to catch up to him. Even his mother sat him down and said that you put a white man over your father. Of course, his father stood for something righteous, but you went to this white man to sell drugs to your community, and then you damn near eradicated the black race almost, because look what it turned out. Look how it turned out. So I thought this was like really dope to me. Like, you have all these ghosts, all these demons, and then we get to the most craziest part of his trip is when he sees himself. Now, what I thought was genius is that he had the season 1 attire and he even looked a little younger. I don't know if they probably did a good makeup job. I don't know. But you can see in season 1. Now, if you remember season 1, you see where Franklin was a bit more he appeared more educated. He was more for the cause. He cared for the cause. He cared for his people. He tried to carry that Black Panther pride with him. You know what I'm saying? And so we get to see this version of Franklin again. Talk to this version of Franklin. Now, this version of Franklin is self-centered. He's a narcissist. He's just terrible. Let's just keep it all the way a buck. I know he's the main character. I know we all love Franklin Saint. I love Franklin Saint, but he's a piece of shit. Sorry. But I just thought that was dope to me. And then the fact that they had the season 1 close to signify that this is Franklin, like little Franklin right here, younger Franklin, good boy Franklin, Gucci shoes Franklin, as Kane says. And then, Franklin himself, his modern self, his present self, is telling himself like, no, I can fix it. I can still save it. And then Franklin is like, yo, you can't save it, bro. All these deaths are connected to Franklin. Carvel, Khadijah, Tiana, everything is connected to Franklin because Franklin stepped in where he shouldn't have been stepping. And not only that, it's because of that and his selfishness, his greed, his eagerness. You know what I'm talking about? But now let's talk about Reed. He starts talking to Reed in his trip. And I thought this was dope to me too. I like how they wrote this scene. So now he's talking to Reed and he realizes that his father is dead because that's what Veronique said in this trip. And he's talking about how he's going to kill Reed and how he suspects that Reed is going to have to kill him essentially. And he said he's going to beat him to it. Now, this is all part of the dream, the trip. But however, we see Reed hang up the phone. He comes back to the truck to that, what's her name? Parissa, whatever her name is. And then comes to find out Franklin paged him and he actually said that he was going to kill him. So now this just set up some crazy, so we get towards the end of the episode and Reed is in Franklin's house taking pictures, looking at all the evidence that Franklin has against Reed. And now Reed has that evidence, so now he can cover his tracks. Now Franklin really messed up. He really messed up. Now, who I want to talk about? I want to talk about Scully. Now, I thought it was Scully acting up doing all this, but he got out of Dodge. Now, I want to talk about Leon, who wants to take Wanda to Africa, and he was like on his sincere type stuff, like, let's go to Africa. And, I hope they end up doing it. You know what? For the series finale, I really hope that ends for Leon. I really hope so, for real. But now we got Avi, he bugging out too. And, Sissy, she starts tripping on Ruben once she finds out that that's what he did, that he drugged the whole party and drugged everyone with acid. And she starts tripping. She could have blew his cover. So now I want to talk about Aunt Louie. Now, I said this is who I was going to talk about. Aunt Louie. Listen, Aunt Louie is just like not popping right now. She's still my favorite character. I know that's Auntie, but she's just not it right now. She's doing too much. And now and the fact that she's doing too much opens up the storyline about how the Colombians got involved. Man, y'all writers. Oh man. But anyway, Louie wants to get away from Franklin and do her own thing so bad. Cool. But now's not the time to do it. Or if it is, you doing it completely wrong. You setting everyone in danger. She's setting everyone in danger. And Sissy's setting everyone in danger. Now she regrets doing business with Ruben now. She regrets. Man, come on, man. And now all these people are turning on Franklin. And, I suspect I got to apologize to Man Boy. Man Boy, you was right. Now, Aunt Louie, back to her. Aunt Louie. Listen, I think she needs to be killed off at some point, to be honest with you. And I think Franklin should do it. How you setting up deals behind his back? And then you go send Buckley to go kill Kane. That don't make no kind of sense at all. None whatsoever. Now, at the end of the episode, once Aunt Louie tells Franklin that it's too late, he gets hip and he starts to realize that, what did this chick do? And then the fact that Shorty kissed Franklin on the lips, I'm like, what kind of Oedipus Rex shit is this? My goodness. So now, one more scene I want to talk about is how Veronique ended up going to see Kane. Now, I didn't think that was smart at all because she could have got killed. But she was trying to see if the beef was really settled, but it was unnecessary. Like, why are you getting up in between that? You about to start something. You know what I'm saying? So now Kane could probably feel suspicious about Franklin because what's your wife doing over here? Would you send her something? But anyway, my final thoughts on the episode. I thought this was a well-written episode. I like how the writers are playing with this season, creatively, throwing creative aspects, throwing trippy aspects, you know what I'm talking about? And I think that's pretty dope. And it actually makes sense, and it correlates with the actual storyline. Now, I will say that I wish the season was a little bit more focused on the social aspects, but that's fine. Plot-driven aspects is fine. Cool. But hopefully next season we get more of a social aspect. But this episode right here, I'm about to give this a 9 out of 10. The acting was incredible. The scenery, the cinematography was incredible. The special effects was incredible. So this is my review, my recap. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Hit the like and subscribe button. And that's how you know I need to go to bed. And I'm up out of here. Y'all be easy and take y'all asses to bed. Good night.